You've been taught to chase success. But what if everything you're running after is already inside you, waiting to be remembered? This audiobook isn't about motivation. It's about transformation. It will challenge your beliefs, rewrite your inner code, and awaken the power you forgot you had. Stop surviving on autopilot. It's time to become the architect of your reality. If you're ready to rise above the noise tap, like it tells YouTube, you're choosing awareness over autopilot. Subscribe now and don't miss the next chapter in your evolution. And remember, the deepest transformation belongs to those who stay until the very end. Introduction. Listen closely if you feel like a ghost of your own potential, watching life pass by, while a quiet voice whispers, "This isn't really you. That ache is not a flaw. It is your evolution calling." You look in the mirror and search for the fierce, unshakable version of you buried beneath doubt and daily demands. You are not broken. You were simply never taught the code. The only person you are destined to become, as Emerson reminds you, is the person you decide to be. This journey is your direct response to that decision. We go beyond fleeting motivation to the core of self-reinvention. Imagine waking with unshakable clarity purpose, replacing uncertainty, confidence, silencing the inner critic. The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. You will dismantle limitations and rebuild on foundations of strength, tangible progress, renewed purpose, deeper self-understanding, empowered choices. Now expand your frame. Psychology calls it agency. Neuroscience calls it neuroplasticity. And energy science calls it coherence. Your beliefs are the operating system. Your attention is the power source. Your decisions are the commands. Repeated thoughts wire neural pathways and tune your emotional frequency. In a universe governed by resonance, you do not chase outcomes, you align with laws. When intention, emotion, and disciplined action synchronize, your field becomes instructive. Reality responds. This is not passive listening. It is active construction. You will train the mind that directs wealth, the habits that protect it, and the structures that multiply it. You will enter the cave naming fears, mapping patterns, replacing stale narratives with precise living principles. You will feel resistance. You will go anyway. The reward is not distant. It compounds from the first honest act, choosing to lead. Your greatest self is not a fantasy. It is a protocol, clear, demanding, liberating. Begin now. Breathe, decide, proceed. The next page is the threshold. Step through. Chapter 1. The battleground of the mind, slaying mediocrity at its source. The mind is everything. What you think, you become. Every revolution begins or dies within the invisible territory between your ears. The war for your greatest self is not waged against the economy, your upbringing, or the opinions of others. It is fought in silence, in the intimate space of your own thoughts. The terrain is your beliefs. The weapons are awareness and focus. Every single day, relentlessly, this war continues. Your current reality is not fate or luck. It is architecture. It was designed brick by brick by the thoughts you repeat and the stories you defend. Each "I can't," each "it's too hard," becomes another wall in your self-made prison. The ceilings are built from the belief that success belongs to others. The floors sag beneath, not for people like me. The cruel warden is that internal whisper of inadequacy, a voice that lives rent-free inside your skull. That voice is the saboteur. It is not truth. It is programming echoes of past criticism, societal noise, ancestral fear. You have carried it like armor, not realizing it's a cage. The first act of liberation is awareness, seeing the prison for what it is. The second is confrontation, daring to call out the lie. Science confirms what ancient mystics intuited: the mind is plastic. Every thought fires a neural pattern strengthening a circuit. Repetition becomes reality. But physics takes it further. Every thought is also a frequency vibrating in your electromagnetic field. The narrative you entertain daily emits a signal that life mirrors back to you. You are not attracting random events. You are aligning with resonant patterns. To change your life, you must change your internal broadcast. This chapter is not a pep talk. It is war, a declaration against every limiting narrative you've obeyed. You must dismantle them brick by brick until nothing remains but open sky. This process will sting. It demands honesty. You must trace every "I'm not enough" back to its origin. Perhaps a careless word from childhood, a failure interpreted as final, a standard set by someone no longer relevant. You will face discomfort. Your ego will resist. It has lived long in the comfort of its chains. But resistance is proof of proximity to freedom. Understand thought is creative energy. When left unguarded, it builds unconsciously. When directed, it constructs worlds. You are both the architect and the demolition crew. The moment you observe a thought without identifying with it, you weaken its hold. Awareness is acid. It dissolves illusion. A growth mindset is not optimism. It is discipline. It is the practice of replacing judgment with curiosity, fear with experimentation. It recognizes that intelligence and talent are not fixed. They expand through use. Failure becomes data. Effort becomes alchemy. The mind that clings to comfort decays. The one that embraces friction evolves. Each time you choose courage over certainty, you rewire your brain and recalibrate your frequency. This is neuroplasticity and energy coherence intertwined. Conscious repetition of empowering thoughts creates structural and vibrational change. You are literally sculpting new tissue and new timelines. Victimhood is a narcotic. It numbs accountability while stealing freedom. You are not a leaf blown by fate. You are the wind itself, the current that shapes direction. Once you accept authorship, excuses die. Responsibility replaces resentment. From this point forward, every reaction becomes a choice. Every choice, a seed of destiny. Guard the gates of your mind as you would a temple. Refuse entry to toxic comparisons, self-pity, and distraction. Feed your consciousness with ideas that challenge and elevate. Surround yourself with individuals who mirror your potential, not your doubts. What you allow in becomes what you live out. This is the crucible, the training ground where the greatest version of you begins to take shape, not through wishful thinking, but through ruthless awareness. Slaying mediocrity starts here, in the unseen revolution of thought. So listen closely. Your next thought is not harmless, it is command. Choose it with precision. Choose strength. Choose expansion. Choose yourself. Chapter 2. Forge victory through atomic habits. Excellence is not born in grand gestures or fleeting bursts of inspiration. It is forged in repetition in the quiet, unglamorous, microscopic acts you perform daily when no one is watching. We are what we repeatedly do. Your habits are not random. They are algorithms. They run your life with mechanical precision, executing silently beneath awareness. If you wish to change your destiny, you must rewrite your code, one atomic habit at a time. Forget motivation. Motivation is weather unpredictable, emotional, transient. Discipline is climate stable, predictable, enduring. Habits are the ecosystem of that climate. They transform fleeting intention into inevitable execution. Your current life, your health, your finances, your focus, your peace, is the physical printout of your habitual programming. Every result, good or bad, is feedback from the system you've built through repetition. Neuroscience calls this Hebbian learning neurons that fire together, wire together. Each time you repeat a behavior, you reinforce the neural circuit and the emotional association behind it. Spiritually, the same law applies. Energy flows where attention goes. Repeated focus on a pattern charges it with vibrational power until it manifests materially. Your mind is a machine that responds to repetition. What you practice, you become. Atomic habits are sacred rituals, small enough to seem trivial, powerful enough to change the trajectory of your existence. 1 glass of water upon waking rehydrates clarity. 1 page read daily reshapes understanding. 1 push-up done every morning redefines identity. The transformation is not in the scale, but in the consistency. Small aligned actions repeated over time collapse probability into certainty. This is compound energy, exponential evolution. You must design your systems as an architect of destiny. Habits thrive in structure. Create ruthless routines that remove the burden of decision. Decision fatigue drains willpower. Systems preserve it. Wake at the same time. Move your body with intention. Feed it with fuel, not indulgence. Focus on the single task that moves the needle most. You are not building a schedule. You are designing momentum. Eliminate the parasites that drain energy, the mindless, scrolling, the late-night distractions, the conversations that breed stagnation. These are not harmless comforts. They are energetic theft. Protect your life force as sacred capital. Your time, attention, and focus are currencies of creation. Spend them deliberately or lose them irretrievably. Understand this habit is not merely behavior. It is identity reinforcement. Every time you act, you cast a vote for the kind of person you are becoming. The disciplined person does not debate whether to train. They train because that's who they are. The writer writes. The leader leads. The creator creates. Action is evidence of belief. Anchor new habits to existing ones. This is behavioral physics, using current momentum to launch new motion. After I pour my morning coffee, I write 1 page. After I brush my teeth, I stretch for 2 minutes. These tiny pairings weave new neural and energetic threads until the fabric of your day reflects your higher pattern. Make the entry barrier laughably small. The goal is not to impress. It is to install. 1 minute of meditation, 1 line in your journal, $1 saved. Consistency precedes intensity. Progression follows naturally as identity stabilizes. Momentum is sacred. Protect it from perfectionism. Track your progress with reverence. Measurement transforms intention into accountability. Each checkmark on a calendar, each streak recorded is not vanity. It is visibility. You are making the invisible discipline visible and the visible discipline divine. Your environment is your invisible hand. It can be your ally or your enemy. Place cues for good habits where your eyes fall first. Remove temptations from your immediate reach. Make success frictionless, failure inconvenient. Energy follows the path of least resistance. Engineer that path wisely. Anticipate resistance, fatigue, distraction, temptation. They will come. Plan your response in advance. If I feel too tired to train, I will do 5 minutes. If I crave distraction, I will breathe and count 10. Every pre-commitment weakens the power of impulse. This is not about self-control alone. It is self-sculpting. You are chiseling a new identity through repetition. Each habit is a hammer strike on the marble of your potential. Some blows will be precise. Others will slip. But the masterpiece emerges only through continuation. Habits are the physics of transformation, cause and effect codified. They turn chaos into order, thought into form, desire into destiny. The first time you choose consistency over comfort, you shift probability in your favor. The 100th time, you alter reality. So, do not seek instant transformation. Seek alignment. Do not chase perfection. Chase permanence. The smallest daily act done consciously echoes through eternity. You are the sculptor, the clay, and the spark that hardens it. Forge your victory, one atomic habit at a time, not through speed, but through sacred repetition. Start small, stay consistent, become unstoppable. Chapter 3. The discipline of execution. Turning knowledge into power. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you're capable of becoming. It is the gap between dream and manifestation, between thought and reality. You can possess the wisdom of philosophers, the strategy of generals, the vision of innovators, but without execution, you are a prisoner of potential. Every great transformation collapses without discipline. Motivation is fragile. It burns bright for a moment, then flickers out when life tests its authenticity. Discipline, however, is elemental. It does not negotiate. It moves through fatigue, weather fear, and boredom with the precision of law. It is the cosmic rhythm that governs every rising sun, every beating heart, every orbit of the planets. The disciplined person lives in harmony with that rhythm. They become predictable to the universe, and in return, the universe becomes reliable to them. Execution is not about force. It is about follow-through. It is doing the thing you said you would do, long after the mood to do it has passed. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you realign your energy field to integrity. Every time you break one, you fracture it. Discipline is not punishment. It is alignment, the calibration of thought, word, and deed into one coherent frequency. You cannot ascend with scattered will. Discipline compresses energy into focus, into laser intensity that cuts through resistance. Think of it as a muscle. The first repetitions tremble, the next stabilize, and over time, it becomes steel. This strength compounds quietly until it redefines your nature. Where most seek comfort, the disciplined seek clarity. Comfort is anesthesia. Discipline is consciousness. Systems are the scaffolding of discipline. Motivation whispers. Systems ensure. Routines, schedules, rituals. They are not restrictions. They are containers for freedom. By structuring your day, you liberate energy once wasted on indecision. Each pre-planned action is a vote for order in a world addicted to chaos. The disciplined mind moves with rhythm, not randomness. Execution requires removing friction. Every obstacle between you and your task must be engineered out of existence. The fewer the decisions, the fewer the leaks in your willpower reservoir. Prepare your tools in advance. Set your environment for success. Lay out your workout clothes before sleep. Block your distractions before they whisper. The disciplined person doesn't fight temptation. They preempt it. If this line made you pause, it means you're present. Give it a like, so the message reaches others who need it too. You will face resistance, the invisible gravity that holds all potential hostage. It appears as procrastination fatigue, or I'll do it later. Resistance is the test. It is the threshold separating amateurs from initiates. Each time you push through, you rewire your nervous system to obey intent, not impulse. Spiritual traditions call this mastery of the lower self, the taming of chaos through deliberate order. Accountability fortifies discipline. Alone, the mind bargains. In the presence of responsibility, it obeys. Declare your goals. Track your consistency. Measure your effort. Data is truth when emotion wavers. Keep a journal, a scoreboard, a record of integrity. Each completed action is a deposit in your reservoir of trust. Over time, that trust becomes unshakable confidence, the foundation of inner power. Remember, execution is sacred repetition. It is not glamorous, but it is divine. The universe does not reward half-finished effort. It rewards completion energy converted fully into form. Discipline transforms invisible intent into tangible matter. In physics, this is energy crystallizing. In consciousness, it is will made real. When you rise early to do the hard thing, when you create despite doubt, when you move while others freeze, you synchronize with the pulse of creation. Discipline is not about rigidity. It is the art of aligning your micro-actions with your macro-destiny. Eventually, it becomes identity. You no longer try to be disciplined. You are discipline embodied. It becomes effortless, automatic, cellular. The mind stops arguing. The soul commands. The body obeys. This is the crucible of greatness, showing up when comfort calls, retreat, working when others rest, finishing when others start over. The disciplined are not superhuman. They are consistent humans operating under higher law. Do not wait for readiness. Do not pray for easier paths. Sharpen yourself against resistance until you cut through everything in your way. Because the moment discipline becomes your default, freedom follows. Not the fleeting freedom of escape, but the enduring freedom of mastery. You do not rise to your goals. You fall to your systems. Build them like sacred architecture. Then walk through them every day until excellence becomes instinct. This is how the great are made, not in the blaze of inspiration, but in the quiet daily fire of execution. Choose to act. Choose to finish. Choose to become. Chapter 4. Define your non-negotiable purpose. The engine of meaning. Without purpose, power decays. Action becomes motion without direction, busy but blind. Purpose is the vector of energy. It is the reason your effort matters. To live without it is to drift, to wither beneath invisible weight. Drifting is not rest. It is erosion. It is what happens when consciousness loses command and defaults to noise. Listen closely. Your purpose is not something you find. It is something you remember. It was never lost, only buried under conditioning, fear, and imitation. Since childhood, you have absorbed narratives about who you should be, what is safe, what is worthy. These stories became armor that turned to stone. Purpose is the act of cracking that shell open. You will not find it in external validation or titles. You will find it in the quiet moments when you feel fully alive, when what you do feels inevitable. Purpose is the alignment point where your deepest values meet the world's greatest need. It is not selfish. It is self-expressive. When you serve your true purpose, you serve life itself. To uncover it, begin with ruthless honesty. Look at your days as a scientist examines data. Where does your time go? What energizes you and what drains you? What would you still do if you were never paid or praised again? What injustice ignites fury in your chest? In the answers, you will find the gravitational pull of your authentic calling. Now define your core values, the non-negotiables that form your spiritual DNA. They are the compass by which purpose navigates. Integrity, freedom, creativity, growth, service. Whatever yours may be, identify them not by thought, but by resonance. When you violate them, you feel it as contraction. When you honor them, you expand. From these values, craft a sentence of purpose, not a wish, but a declaration. State it in the present tense: I awaken potential in others through truth and creation. I design clarity in chaotic systems. I restore beauty where it has been forgotten. This statement becomes your North Star. Science affirms what mystics knew: the brain and the body need direction. A clear why triggers the dopaminergic systems that fuel motivation, resilience, and flow. Spiritually, a clear why focuses vibration into coherence. When thought, emotion, and purpose align, your frequency becomes directive. You stop chasing outcomes and begin magnetizing them. Purpose transforms suffering. Without it, pain feels senseless. With it, pain becomes fuel. The person who knows why can bear almost any how. Challenges cease to be punishments. They become refinement, the fire through which meaning is tempered. You must also make your purpose non-negotiable. It cannot depend on convenience or approval. Every choice, opportunity, and relationship must pass through its filter. Does this move me closer to my purpose or further away? If it does not align, the answer is no, without hesitation, without apology. This discipline of alignment will cost you. You will outgrow people, paths, and identities built on compromise. You will be misunderstood, but the reward is sovereignty. When you live by purpose, you no longer chase validation, you radiate direction. The world reorganizes around your conviction. Remember, purpose is not static. It evolves as you evolve. It expands as your consciousness expands. Treat it like a living contract review. Refine it, recommit to it as you grow. From this day forward, your life must orbit a central law: energy follows meaning. Whatever you pour your intention into will flourish. Whatever lacks purpose will decay. Anchor your days in that awareness. Write your purpose where your eyes meet it each morning. Speak it aloud until the words feel like oxygen. Act from it until it becomes identity. When you do, uncertainty dissolves. Doubt loses its voice. Every decision becomes simple, not easy, but clear. You are no longer drifting. You are directed. Your purpose is not a destination, it is propulsion. It is the current that carries you through storms and into creation. Find it, name it, protect it with everything you are. Because the moment you make your purpose non-negotiable, you stop merely existing and begin to live as cause, not effect. That is when the universe finally recognizes you as a co-creator. And that is when your ascent truly begins. Chapter 5. Commanding Time. The currency of conscious creation. Time is not a river that carries you. It is clay that yields to the sculptor's hand. Every minute is matter waiting for instruction. To waste it is to deny your creative nature. You do not find time. You claim it, carve it, command it, or you lose it to entropy. This is the brutal and beautiful truth. Time is the great equalizer. The billionaire and the beggar each receive 24 hours, yet they live in entirely different universes. The difference is not in their allotment, but in their awareness. The master of time understands it is not measured by clocks, but by consciousness. Each focused hour expands, each distracted one collapses. To command time, you must first face how you surrender it. Track your hours with surgical precision. Watch the leaks, the scrolling, the gossip, the tasks that feel busy but birth nothing. What you call, "I didn't have time," is often, "I did not prioritize truth." Every minute spent unconsciously is a small act of self-abandonment. Awareness closes the wound. Once seen, you can reclaim. The first law of time mastery. Decide what matters. Purpose must dictate schedule, not emotion. Each morning, define the 3 actions that align most directly with your long-term vision. They are your sacred priorities. The rest is noise. Guard them as a temple. Understand the urgent is seductive, but the important is eternal. The email can wait. The message can wait. The work that builds your future cannot. Time management is not about doing more. It's about doing what is meaningful with militant consistency. Every yes to a trivial demand is a no to your destiny. Learn to say no as an act of reverence. When you decline distraction, you are not being cold, you are being clear. You cannot serve the world fully while leaking energy into every request that flatters your ego but fractures your focus. Create fortress hours, blocks of uninterrupted solitude where deep work becomes ritual. Turn off notifications, silence the external noise. Neuroscience confirms that uninterrupted focus produces exponential output, a phenomenon called flow. Spiritually, its presence the collapse of time itself. In these states, 1 hour of pure concentration equals 10 hours of scattered motion. Distraction is the disease of our era, weaponized, profitable, omnipresent. But understand, it is not the phone that steals your focus. It is the undisciplined mind that offers it. Technology does not command you. Your attention does. Treat attention as sacred currency. Where it flows, energy follows and outcomes manifest. Procrastination is time theft, disguised as comfort. It whispers later while robbing you blind. At its root is fear, fear of failure, fear of success, fear of discomfort. The antidote is movement. Begin before you are ready. Action generates clarity. Hesitation breeds distortion. Momentum, once started, becomes its own gravity. Structure is freedom. Routines, boundaries, and systems are not cages. They are conduits for creation. Design your days the way an artist designs negative space with intention. Mornings for creation, afternoons for execution, evenings for restoration. Protect the edges of your day as fiercely as you protect your dreams. Batch your tasks. Eliminate context switching. Each mental jump drains focus. The disciplined mind gathers similar actions together. One block for communication, one for planning, one for learning. When you reduce transitions, you multiply energy. Leverage tools, but never become their servant. A calendar is sacred space, not a graveyard of forgotten intentions. Schedule what aligns with your mission and delete what doesn't. When fatigue sets in, rest deliberately, not as escape, but as optimization. True rest is ritual, not randomness. Sleep, stillness, nature. They are not indulgences. They are recalibrations of the nervous system, the software that runs your consciousness. Remember, the goal is not to fill time. It is to fold it, to live so intentionally that each hour expands beyond its measure. Time bends around focus. Presence stretches it. Distraction compresses it. Energy and time are twin currencies. Where one goes, the other follows. Master your energy through health, alignment, and purpose, and you automatically master your time. The disciplined soul knows you cannot manage time without managing self. And when you finally align your hours with your higher laws, time ceases to be something you chase. It becomes something that obeys. You no longer live in time. You live through it, directing it, shaping it, creating with it. Command time, and you command creation. Because the moment you master your minutes, eternity opens. Chapter 6. The Law of Focus. Where attention goes, energy flows. Focus is not merely concentration, it is creation. It is the silent sculptor shaping your reality. Every thought, every emotion, every flicker of attention is an instruction issued to the universe, a line of code written into the fabric of your future. Wherever your awareness rests, energy gathers. Wherever it fragments, power dissipates. You are not starved of potential. You are diluted by distraction. In a world engineered to fracture attention, reclaiming focus is an act of rebellion. Algorithms compete for your consciousness. Notifications colonize your mind. But nothing can steal what you refuse to offer. Attention is the purest form of currency, and mastery begins when you spend it with precision. Understand the physics of focus. Neuroscience calls it selective attention. The reticular activating system, RAS, filters millions of sensory signals, allowing in only what matches your current intention. If you focus on limitation, your brain will serve you proof of scarcity. Focus on opportunity, and you'll begin to perceive pathways that were always there, waiting for your recognition. The mind doesn't see reality, it sees what it's instructed to seek. On a deeper level, this is the quantum observer effect. What you consistently observe, you energize. Your attention collapses probability into presence, possibility into form. Energy flows toward coherence. The sharper your focus, the denser your results. Wandering awareness is like scattered light, bright but weak. Concentrated attention is a laser. It cuts through illusion and forges new reality. So the question is not, how do I get more energy? But where is my energy leaking? Each leak is a thought, a worry, a habit of mind that siphons your creative voltage. Identify them, silence them. Your focus is sacred real estate. Guard it, as you would your most valuable possession. To master focus, you must master your internal state. Begin with the body. A fatigued nervous system cannot sustain awareness. Sleep, hydration, and stillness are not luxuries. They are prerequisites for clarity. Meditation, breathwork, and mindful movement train the mind to return again and again to the present moment, the only dimension where true power exists. Then master your environment. Remove visual clutter, digital noise, unnecessary stimulation. The brain mirrors its surroundings. Simplicity outside breeds coherence inside. Create rituals that mark transitions, lighting a candle before deep work, playing specific frequencies, entering a designated space where the world narrows to one intention. Over time, your body learns that focus is home. But focus is not just exclusion, it is communion. It is full participation with what you are doing. When you are deeply focused, you merge with your work, dissolving the illusion of separation between doer and deed. Artists call it flow, monks call it presence, scientists call it immersion. In this state, time disappears, effort feels effortless, and the boundary between thought and manifestation blurs. Distraction, however, will seduce you constantly. It disguises itself as productivity, curiosity, even self-care. It tells you, just check once, and before you notice, your consciousness is scattered into fragments. Every time you indulge distraction, you train the mind to obey interruption. Every time you resist, you train it to obey purpose. Focus is built through friction. Each moment of redirection is a micro-rep of power. Multitasking is a myth. The mind can switch, but it cannot split. Each switch incurs a cost, fragments of attention lost in the transitions. Choose single tasking as your default. Finish what you start, however small. Completion strengthens the circuitry of attention. Remember, you cannot eliminate thought, but you can prioritize it. Focus is choice, saying this matters, and letting everything else fade to background noise. It is the courage to be narrow, to channel instead of scatter. And then comes the deeper mastery, focusing not just on goals, but on the state of being required to achieve them. The disciplined mind asks, who must I be to sustain this focus? Because when your inner frequency matches your outer aim, the work becomes effortless. Focus then becomes not an effort of will, but a function of alignment. This is the law. Attention is destiny. You are always feeding something: fear or vision, doubt or devotion. Whatever you feed grows. Whatever you starve withers. Direct your focus deliberately. Let it become devotion. Let your mind hold one clear image, one true aim, until the universe has no choice but to conform. Because where attention goes, energy flows. And where energy flows, reality follows. Chapter 7. The Alchemy of Failure. Transforming Pain into Power. Failure is not the end of your story. It is the forge that tempers your spirit. Every collapse, every heartbreak, every setback is the universe asking, will you rise conscious or retreat unconscious? Pain is not punishment. It is initiation. Those who fear failure never transcend mediocrity. Those who learn its language become unstoppable. The world teaches you to avoid pain, to escape discomfort. But growth is the child of friction. Muscles strengthen by tearing minds, expand by contradiction. Souls evolve by enduring pressure. In physics, this is called stress. Adaptation systems grow stronger when exposed to challenge with intolerance. Spiritually, it is the same law. Your soul refines through resistance. When failure strikes, the unconscious reacts: shame, avoidance, collapse. The conscious creator pauses, observes, extracts the code. What is this showing me about my attachment, my identity, my pattern? In that moment of inquiry, failure transforms from enemy to teacher. The alchemist does not curse the fire. They use it to separate the gold from the impurities. Every failure is feedback data, written in pain. The mind that learns to read it without emotional distortion becomes free. Neuroscience calls this cognitive reframing, shifting perception from catastrophe to curriculum. Energy science calls it transmutation, converting dense emotion into refined awareness. Both describe the same truth, meaning changes matter. Failure reveals where you were misaligned. It strips illusion. It exposes the false foundations, those built on ego, haste, or imitation, and demands you rebuild from truth. You cannot fail at what is authentic to your being. You can only be redirected toward it. The closed door is not rejection. It is redirection by higher intelligence. Do not seek to avoid failure. Seek to fail consciously. Each time you fall with awareness, you collect wisdom unavailable to those who never leap. You begin to trust yourself not for perfection, but for recovery. Resilience is not the absence of pain. It is the confidence that pain no longer defines you. Consider the pattern of nature. A seed must split to sprout. Stars collapse before they ignite. Metals are refined only in heat. The same law governs you. If you interpret collapse as death, you resist the very mechanism that evolves you. If you interpret it as transformation, you partner with the universe itself. Failure also reveals your attachments. What did you expect to happen? What identity were you protecting? Often the pain of failure is not in the event, but in the story: I should have been further. I'm not enough. These thoughts carry frequency, and their vibration keeps you tethered to the very state you wish to transcend. Release them. They are not truth. They are residue. Instead, affirm this: everything that happens to me serves my evolution. This statement shifts your vibration from resistance to reception. The moment you stop fighting reality, you access its instruction. What was loss becomes leverage. Embrace post-failure stillness. After a collapse, the ego rushes to rebuild new goals, new affirmations, new distractions. But silence after failure is sacred. In that stillness, you integrate. The nervous system recalibrates. The psyche reorganizes. Only when you have absorbed the lesson should you re-engage. Otherwise, you are simply repeating the pattern under a new name. Turn failure into ritual. Journal it. Map the chain of events. Highlight where intuition was ignored, where emotion overruled logic, where discipline faltered. Not to judge, but to understand the geometry of your fall. Every mistake has architecture. Study it until you can reconstruct its opposite: clarity, composure, foresight. The secret: failure and success are not opposites. They are frequencies of the same vibration. One compresses energy, the other expands it. The compression is essential. It creates potential. Like a bow drawn backward before release, failure stores force. If you stay conscious through it, that tension becomes trajectory. Let gratitude complete the alchemy. Gratitude neutralizes bitterness, dissolves resistance, and stabilizes vibration. Thank the challenge for showing you where you were unprepared to hold power. Thank the loss for revealing attachment. Thank the pain for deepening empathy. Gratitude turns every scar into signal. Understand those who avoid failure live lives of quiet decay. Those who embrace it rise as phoenixes, each destruction becoming purification, each fall an ascent in disguise. When you learn to look at pain and say, "I see you and I will use you," you become untouchable. Life no longer happens to you. It happens through you. So the next time you fall, don't just get back up, rise different, rise refined, rise radiant, because every failure survived consciously becomes energy liberated. And that energy, raw, reclaimed, sacred, is what will build the next higher version of you. Pain is not your enemy. It is the doorway. Walk through. Chapter 8. Reprogramming the Subconscious. The Hidden Operating System. If your conscious mind is the captain, your subconscious is the ocean beneath it, vast, ancient, and powerful enough to sink or sail you. You may steer with intention, but unless the deep currents agree, your direction will always drift. To master your life, you must master the mind, beneath the mind. The subconscious governs nearly 95% of your thoughts, actions, and emotional reactions. It is a library of imprints, every word, fear, and memory you've absorbed since childhood. It doesn't judge, it records. It doesn't reason, it repeats. Its mission is survival, not success. And that's the paradox. What once protected you now often confines you. Consider it an operating system built long before you learned to code. Every belief functions as a program. I'm not good enough, money is hard, love is risky. These scripts run quietly, but dictate everything you perceive as possible. The outer world mirrors them with perfect precision. This is not metaphysics. It's neurobiology and energy physics entwined. The brain fires along old neural highways, while your electromagnetic field broadcasts the same vibrational frequency. To change your external reality, you must rewrite these internal scripts. Awareness is the access key. Observe your patterns, the decisions you justify, but secretly resent, the opportunities you sabotage, the emotions that repeat like old songs. These loops reveal your core programming. You cannot heal what you refuse to witness. Once seen, begin reprogramming. The subconscious learns through repetition, emotion, and imagery. It is impressionable, especially in theta brainwave states, the liminal moments right before sleep and just after waking. In those portals, your critical filters soften and new commands can enter. Replace "I can't" with "I am becoming." Replace "I never have enough" with "I am aligned with abundance." These are not empty affirmations. They are linguistic frequencies that reshape both neuron and vibration. Visualization accelerates the process. When you imagine vividly, your brain releases the same neurotransmitters as if the event were real. The subconscious cannot distinguish between imagination and experience. Rehearse your desired identity daily. Feel it. See it. Let it imprint until it feels familiar, inevitable. Familiarity is the subconscious threshold for truth. Emotion is the accelerator. Feeling is energy in motion. When you speak an affirmation with indifference, it falls flat. When you say it with conviction, when your body feels the resonance of certainty, the subconscious listens. Energy follows emotional voltage. This is why gratitude, joy, and awe amplify manifestation. They elevate your electromagnetic field, making it coherent and magnetic. Ritualize the process. Journal daily in the language of already becoming today. I lead with calm authority. Money arrives through value and alignment. Love flows easily because I am open. These micro-rituals anchor identity. What you repeat with belief becomes the blueprint your subconscious executes automatically. Guard the inputs. Every film headline, conversation, and song is a download into your subconscious. You cannot live abundantly while feeding your mind scarcity. You cannot feel peace while consuming outrage. Your attention is the portal. Choose wisely what you allow to enter. Healing old programs requires compassion, not war. The voice that doubts you once protected you from pain. Thank it. Tell it the danger has passed. Then replace fear with direction. When you update the emotional memory, the behavior dissolves naturally. This is neuroplasticity in motion, synapses, rewiring as old associations fade. Understand this is not instant magic. It is daily reconditioning. Each new choice, each moment of awareness, is a keystroke rewriting destiny. Over time, the new code stabilizes. The subconscious accepts it as law. You will feel the shift life begins to reflect your upgraded internal language. Coincidences multiply. Opportunities align. Energy flows smoothly, as if life finally remembers who you are. Ultimately, the subconscious is not your enemy. It is your oldest ally awaiting new instruction. Once reprogrammed, it becomes your servant instead of your saboteur. Speak to it with reverence. Train it with patience. Reward it with gratitude. Because when your subconscious mind obeys your conscious intention, you cease to manifest from fear and begin to create from pure, deliberate power. You stop surviving. You start designing. That is the hidden art of self-mastery, to rewrite the unseen so the visible must follow. Chapter 9. Mastering Emotional Energy. The language of the body and soul. Emotion is not weakness, it is electricity. It is the body's language of truth, the bridge between thought and manifestation. Each emotion carries a frequency, a vibration that signals the state of your inner world to the field around you. To master your emotions is not to suppress them, but to understand and transmute them, to turn raw feeling into refined power. Most people are not emotional. They are emotionally hijacked. They drown in reactive currents, mistaking turbulence for depth. You cannot lead a conscious life if you are enslaved to unconscious feeling. To master emotion, you must first learn to read its message. Every feeling is feedback. Fear says, you're protecting something. Anger says, your boundary is crossed. Sadness says, you are releasing. Anxiety says, you're projecting into the future. The wise do not resist emotion, they interpret it. Emotion is energy in motion. When you suppress it, it stagnates. The body remembers what the mind refuses to process. Unexpressed grief lodges in the chest. Resentment calcifies in the gut. Unspoken shame manifests as fatigue or self-sabotage. Healing requires movement, breath-writing voice, stillness. You must let the energy complete its cycle. Science confirms what mystics have always known. Emotion originates as biochemical energy, neurotransmitters, hormones, electrical charges. When felt consciously, the body metabolizes them. When resisted, the body recycles them endlessly. Emotional mastery begins not in thinking differently, but in feeling fully without losing awareness. Start by naming your emotions without judgment. The act of naming shifts them from limbic chaos to cortical control, from reaction to observation. When you say, "I feel anger," rather than "I am angry," you create space between stimulus and identity. In that space lies sovereignty. Breath is your alchemy. It is the bridge between body and consciousness. When emotion surges, breathe slow and deep. Oxygen tells the nervous system, "I am safe." This safety dissolves distortion, allowing energy to transform. Every conscious breath is a message to your subconscious power, and peace can coexist. Transmutation, however, is not denial. You cannot meditate your way around the emotions you refuse to face. Sit with them. Listen to their texture, their temperature, their origin. Feel them until they teach you. When you do, emotion becomes revelation, a teacher disguised as tension. Once you understand its lesson, you can redirect its force. Anger becomes focus. Fear becomes alertness. Sadness becomes depth. Jealousy becomes inspiration. Each emotion has a higher octave waiting to be accessed through awareness. This is true emotional alchemy, not avoiding darkness, but refining it into light. The more you process emotions consciously, the less they control you unconsciously. Old triggers lose voltage. Past wounds stop hijacking present moments. You move from reactivity to responsiveness, from chaos to coherence. This is energetic regulation, the balance that stabilizes your frequency and allows you to hold greater manifestations without collapse. Gratitude is the ultimate stabilizer. It shifts emotion from scarcity to sufficiency, from resistance to receptivity. Gratitude doesn't deny pain, it gives pain purpose. When you can thank a challenge while still standing in its shadow, you've transcended victimhood. Gratitude transforms suffering into strength, emotion into energy, story into sovereignty. Understand emotions are your navigation system. Without them, you cannot sense alignment. Joy means you are on track. Frustration means you are out of rhythm. Shame means you are denying your truth. To numb emotion is to destroy your compass. Sensitivity, when trained, is not fragility, it is precision. Protect your emotional field like sacred technology. The people you interact with, the music you listen to, the environments you inhabit all carry frequency. Discernment is emotional hygiene. You become what you expose yourself to. Surround yourself with coherence, and your energy will stay clean. Mastery does not mean emotion disappears. It means emotion obeys. It rises, speaks, releases, and returns to stillness. You are the conductor, not the instrument. When your emotional body becomes clear, your energy field stabilizes. Manifestation accelerates. Relationships deepen. Health improves. This is not coincidence. It is physics. Coherence between mind, body, and emotion creates a unified signal to the universe. The universe answers coherence faster than chaos. So stop fearing your feelings. They are sacred messengers, not enemies. Feel them, free them, and forge power from their pulse. Because when your emotions obey awareness, you are no longer at the mercy of waves. You become the tide itself. Chapter 10. The Power of Identity. Becoming the Future Self Now. Every transformation begins with identity. You do not change your life by forcing behavior. You change it by becoming the kind of person for whom that behavior is natural. Goals focus on what you want. Identity focuses on who you are. When you shift identity, action follows automatically, not from discipline alone, but from inevitability. The greatest illusion is that you must wait to become before you can act. In truth, you must act as if before you become. This is not pretending. It is aligning. Every action is a vote for your future self. Each repetition reinforces the neural and energetic architecture of the identity you are choosing. Identity operates as a frequency loop. Your beliefs generate emotions, your emotions drive actions, and your actions reaffirm belief. To alter your reality, you must interrupt this loop at its origin belief. I am lazy. I am anxious. I am unlucky. These are not observations. They are instructions. Your subconscious obeys them as law-filtering experience to validate what you declare. To reprogram your world, begin by rewriting the sentence after I am. Choose words deliberately. I am becoming consistent. I am learning to lead. I am disciplined. Over time, your nervous system adapts to this upgraded self-concept. The new identity ceases to feel foreign. It becomes familiar. Remember, the subconscious accepts familiarity as truth. The more often you inhabit the energy of your future self, the more inevitable it becomes. Visualize identity, not outcome. Don't just see the achievement, feel the posture tone and stillness of the person who already lives it. The brain does not distinguish between imagination and memory. Both create neural patterns. The universe does not distinguish between vibration and fact. Both emit frequency. This is how, as within, so without, becomes science, not metaphor. Your environment must mirror your chosen identity. Identity does not thrive in contradiction. If you want to live as a creator, curate surroundings that reflect clarity, clean spaces, intentional aesthetics, words and music that match your frequency. If you wish to embody abundance, stop rehearsing scarcity in conversation and thought. The subconscious learns not only from what you say, but from what you tolerate. Detach from your old identity with compassion. It once kept you safe, but safety and evolution rarely coexist. The mind will cling to what is known, even misery, because predictability feels like control. The moment you witness this attachment without indulging it, it weakens. Transformation is the art of releasing the familiar in favor of the true. Identity also thrives in embodiment. The body anchors belief. Walk like your future self. Speak with their calm. Move with their certainty. The nervous system needs physical evidence to stabilize the new pattern. What begins as conscious imitation becomes cellular memory. Soon you are no longer acting like you are simply being. Beware of self-concept. Lag the period between internal upgrade and external validation. The world reflects identity with a delay, the way sound follows lightning. Do not collapse back into the old self because evidence hasn't yet caught up. Reality rearranges slowly for the patient and persistently aligned. Accountability accelerates embodiment. Surround yourself with people who reflect your new standard, not your old comfort zone. The company you keep either normalizes your evolution or anesthetizes it. Energy is contagious. Choose frequencies that reinforce your next chapter. When you finally operate from your new identity, results compound rapidly. You no longer ask, "How do I stay consistent?" Consistency is who you are. You no longer struggle with fear. Courage is native. You no longer chase outcomes. Outcomes orbit your frequency. The ego will try to reclaim you, whispering that authenticity means staying the same. But the highest authenticity is expansion. You are not betraying your old self. You are fulfilling its purpose by evolving beyond its limits. Identity is not fixed. It is a fluid interface between who you were and who you're becoming. Each day you choose which signal to amplify. Choose consciously. Speak your new name often. Think its thoughts. Walk its rhythm. Because the moment you inhabit the energy of your future self now, not someday not, when the universe must reorganize to match you. That is not fantasy. It is law. You do not become by waiting. You become by embodying. So stop trying to prove who you are. Start remembering who you've always been, infinite, adaptable, and unfinished. The identity you dare to live is the blueprint the universe dares to build. Chapter 11. The System of Self-Mastery. Building Internal Architecture. Mastery is not an accident. It is designed the deliberate architecture of mind, body, and behavior, aligned toward one coherent purpose. To build a life of excellence, you must construct systems strong enough to hold greatness. Goals inspire, systems ensure. A goal is a direction, a system is the engine. Your current life is a system perfect in its design for the results it produces. If you dislike the results, don't curse fate. Examine the structure. Chaos is not a condition, it is a lack of architecture. When you build clear internal systems, discipline becomes effortless and success becomes predictable. A system is the invisible scaffolding beneath every powerful life. It's the set of automated choices that preserve energy for creation. Think of yourself as both engineer and experiment, constantly refining the mechanisms that govern your focus, rest, nourishment, relationships, and creativity. Every repeating behavior, conscious or unconscious, is a subsystem. Audit them. Start with the input system. What enters your mind daily? Books, conversations. Media, environment. All are nutritional data for consciousness. Garbage and distortion out. Curate input that uplifts, challenges, expands. Feed your mind ideas that stretch its structure until it learns to live in higher dimensions of thought. Next, design your workflow system. Momentum thrives on rhythm. Schedule sacred blocks of deep work when energy peaks. Protect them like appointments with destiny. Between these peaks, embed micro-rituals, brief walks, breath resets, hydration journaling. These are calibration points, not indulgences. They keep the internal machinery running smooth. Then fortify your energy management system. The body is your generator. Sleep, nutrition, movement. These are not side quests. They are infrastructure. A depleted body cannot sustain a high-frequency mind. Treat recovery as responsibility, not reward. Even the sun rests beyond the horizon. Integrate a feedback system. Master's measure. Keep a log of actions, emotions, and outcomes. Review weekly without judgment, only data. Where did energy leak? What habit paid dividends? Awareness transforms feedback into optimization. Over time, self-observation becomes self-correction. Automation is sacred in mastery. Each habit you ritualize removes friction. Morning routines, journaling rituals, evening reflections. These are spiritual technologies disguised as scheduling. The goal is not rigidity, but flow, to make excellence your default setting. When systems hold you, willpower is conserved for creation. As you refine structure, expect resistance. The ego fears systems because systems expose inconsistency. They measure what the mind prefers to ignore. But truth is liberation. A well-built system reveals precisely where integrity falters and gives you the blueprint to repair it. Spiritually, systems mirror universal law. The cosmos itself runs on rhythm tides, rotations, seasons' breath. Chaos only appears to those who cannot see the pattern. When your personal systems echo these cosmic cycles, your life synchronizes with nature's intelligence. Productivity becomes peace. Balance, rigidity, with responsiveness. Systems must breathe. When energy surges, expand. When it wanes, rest. The disciplined creator adapts without collapsing. Flexibility is not weakness. It is awareness applied to structure. Every system requires a keystone ritual, the central practice that stabilizes all others. For some, it's morning meditation. For others, journaling or strength training. Choose one act that, when completed, signals victory to your subconscious. Do it daily without fail. That ritual becomes the spine of your mastery. Understand this truth. Systems are not the enemy of freedom. They are the vessel that contains it. Without structure, energy disperses. With it, energy multiplies. The most creative spirits in history lived within tight routines, not because they loved constraint, but because they understood the physics of flow. The ultimate system is awareness itself, the constant observation of your inner mechanics, without judgment. Watch the mind's patterns, the body's signals, the emotional weather. Observation creates distance. Distance allows design. You can't rebuild machinery while entangled in its motion. Step back. See. Adjust. Over time, your systems will evolve from mechanical to intuitive. They will no longer feel like schedules, but like seasons, each movement a natural expression of rhythm. That is the mark of mastery, when structure disappears into self and excellence becomes effortless. Build your inner architecture brick by deliberate brick. Each habit a beam, each principle a pillar, each reflection a window through which clarity enters. And remember, the stronger your foundation, the higher your spirit can rise. You are not building routines, you are constructing a temple for your purpose to inhabit. Chapter 12. Mind-body synchrony. Energy, movement, and momentum. Your mind is not separate from your body. It is expressed through it. Every thought you think becomes chemistry. Every emotion becomes motion. The body listens, translates, and broadcasts your internal dialogue into the external field. To master one without the other is to build a bridge on half its pillars. True mastery demands alignment, a symphony between mind, body, and energy. In the language of science, your body is an electromagnetic system. Every heartbeat generates a measurable field that extends several feet beyond your skin. When your thoughts and emotions are coherent, that field strengthens. When they conflict, it fractures. In spiritual language, this is alignment. In physics, it is resonance. Both describe the same truth: harmony within generates power without. Energy is the currency of life. The state of your body determines the bandwidth of your consciousness. A fatigued body narrows perception, amplifying fear and apathy. A vital body expands awareness, awakening creativity and courage. This is not vanity, it's voltage. If you wish to elevate your life, elevate your energy. Movement is medicine. The ancients danced, trained, and prayed through motion because they understood the body as a sacred instrument of awakening. Modern science confirms it. Movement increases oxygen releases, endorphins, and balances neurotransmitters. Each motion discharges stagnant emotion, literally shaking loose stored tension and old memory. Energy must move or it decays. Exercise is not punishment. It is celebration. It's how consciousness maintains the temple. You do not work out to burn calories. You move to amplify vibration. When you train your body with awareness, focusing on breath form and rhythm, you create coherence between physical motion and mental focus. This coherence translates into every area of life: clearer thought, steadier emotion, faster manifestation. Your posture tells the universe who you believe you are. Slumped shoulders signal defeat. An open chest signals readiness. Adjust the body and the mind follows. The nervous system doesn't wait for words, it reads stance as identity. Train yourself to embody confidence physically until your biology agrees. Nutrition is energy transference. Food carries frequency. The cleaner the source, the higher the vibration. Choose foods that were alive, recently, vibrant, colorful, whole. They contain light in molecular form. You cannot build radiance from residue. Hydrate water, conducts electricity, and you are electricity. Dehydration dulls thought and spirit alike. Treat eating as communion, not consumption. Rest is the invisible training. During deep sleep, the body regenerates cells, while the mind consolidates learning. It is the nightly reset that keeps your system synchronized. Skipping rest is self-sabotage, disguised as ambition. The body cannot be tricked. It will demand balance either through recovery or breakdown. Choose recovery. Breath is the control panel of the nervous system. Fast and shallow when anxious, slow and deep when centered. Mastering breath is mastering state. 3 conscious breaths can reset the trajectory of an entire day. Breath transforms scattered thought into anchored presence. It is both anchor and ascension. Mind-body synchrony also means understanding the feedback loop between movement and emotion. Every emotion has a posture. Fear curls inward. Joy expands outward, determination grounds. When you shift posture intentionally, you shift the emotional frequency it supports. Stand tall long enough and courage finds you. Energy practices, meditation, yoga, tai chi, even stillness, are not rituals of escape, but of alignment. They tune the inner instrument. Meditation stills the noise of thought. Movement channels the current through clear pathways. Each practice is a way to harmonize electricity, with awareness turning static into flow. Momentum arises from synchronization. When body, mind, and emotion vibrate in coherence, action requires less effort. You no longer push against yourself. Energy circulates cleanly. Tasks that once felt heavy become natural. This is what athletes call the zone and mystics call flow. It is the same state unity in motion. Illness, fatigue, and stagnation are not random. They are messages of misalignment. The body whispers before it screams. Listen early. Pain is not punishment. It is information, the body asking for attention, not resentment. Treat it with compassion. Heal through listening, not denial. The more synchronized you become, the more intuitive you become. You start sensing what, when, and how much your system needs: food, rest, work, creation. Intuition is the language of a body in harmony with mind and spirit. The ultimate goal is not fitness, it is flow. When every part of you, physical, mental, emotional, moves in rhythm, you become a channel of pure creative force. You feel it, the lightness, the steadiness, the quiet certainty that you and life are no longer at odds. Train your body as temple, feed it as altar, rest it as sanctuary. Move with purpose, breathe with reverence, think with clarity. When the mind commands and the body obeys with joy, you are no longer divided. You become one organism, alive, aware, unstoppable. This is synchrony. This is sovereignty in motion. Chapter 13. Connection and contribution. Expanding beyond the self. True greatness is not measured by what you accumulate, but by what you circulate. Power without purpose decays. Abundance without contribution stagnates. The river that refuses to flow becomes a swamp. In the same way, energy that does not extend beyond the self turns heavy and hollow. You are not meant to hoard your light. You are meant to multiply it. Human beings are energetic ecosystems, not isolated islands. Every thought, every action, every word you speak sends ripples through the collective field. You have felt this truth before. A single person's calm can soothe a room. Another's tension can poison it. This is not metaphor. It is resonance. The frequencies we emit intertwine, shaping the invisible atmosphere of every shared space. To master yourself and yet withhold that mastery from the world is to live half awake. Connection is not dependency. It is recognition, a remembering that every soul is an extension of the same current. The illusion of separation is the root of suffering. Contribution is its cure. When you give consciously time attention, wisdom service, you reinforce your connection to the whole. Energy moves through you, like electricity through a wire. The clearer your intention, the stronger your transmission. Contribution expands consciousness. When your focus shifts from, "What can I get to?" "What can I give you?" Move from scarcity vibration to abundance frequency. The act of giving dissolves contraction, opening the channels for more flow. This is not spiritual poetry. It is energetic reciprocity. Life mirrors your generosity, not because it rewards virtue, but because flow sustains itself through exchange. There are many forms of contribution. Some give through creation, building systems, art, or ideas that uplift. Some give through presence, listening, understanding, holding space. Others give through leadership, organizing chaos into clarity. Whatever your gift, it is not random. It is your frequency made useful. Purpose matures through contribution. Begin with the smallest radius, your energy. When you maintain emotional coherence, you contribute calm to the field. When you respond instead of react, you reduce chaos for everyone connected to you. The world shifts subtly but measurably because of your internal work. The micro is the macro. Then expand your reach. Serve where your passion intersects with the world's pain. The planet does not need another distracted achiever. It needs awake architects, those who turn healing into systems, love into leadership, empathy into action. Contribution is not charity. It is collaboration with evolution itself. Understand giving does not drain you. Misaligned giving does. When you serve from depletion or guilt, you emit distortion. True service flows from overflow, from the wholeness that naturally desires to express itself. Fill yourself first. The cup that overflows does not spill. It irrigates. Connection also means allowing others to give to you. To receive with grace is to honor the same circuit. Many block abundance by rejecting support, emotionally, financially, spiritually. They mistake self-reliance for strength, forgetting that energy exchange is the law of growth. When you receive consciously, you affirm your worthiness to belong to the universal flow. In relationships, connection deepens when authenticity replaces performance. When you speak truth without armor, you give others permission to do the same. Vulnerability is not weakness. It is voltage, the raw current that electrifies genuine human bond. You cannot connect through pretense, only presence. Collaboration amplifies creation. Two coherent minds can generate exponential insight. Groups aligned in shared frequency, companies, movements, communities become collective consciousness in action. This is how civilizations evolve, through synchronized intention. Every great leap in history began as resonance between a few aligned souls who refused to remain small. And remember, contribution is legacy in motion. You may never see the full impact of your influence. The seed you plant in one conversation may bloom years later in another heart. But the universe keeps perfect record of resonance. Nothing given with clarity is ever lost. Live as a conduit. Let energy flow through you. Knowledge, love, resources without attachment. When life passes through you, freely stagnation disappears. You become a living current, a transmitter of coherence in a fragmented world. The measure of true evolution is not how high you rise alone, but how many rise because you did. So look around. Where can your light relieve darkness? Where can your strength build bridges? Where can your wisdom replace noise with direction? Connection is expansion. Contribution is expression. Together, they transform existence from survival to service, from isolation to impact. When you master yourself, the next step is inevitable to help others remember they can too. Because the greatest version of you is not a monument, it is a mirror reflecting possibility in everyone you touch. Chapter 14. Manifestation and Alignment. Co-creating with universal law. Manifestation is not wishful thinking. It is physics in motion, the translation of energy into matter through coherence. You are not a beggar of fate. You are a participant in creation. The universe is responsive, not random. Every thought, emotion, and action you emit carries vibration, and vibration organizes form. You are always manifesting consciously or unconsciously. The only question is whether you are doing it deliberately. At its core, manifestation is alignment. When what you think, feel, and do exist on the same frequency, reality reorganizes to match it. Thought alone is potential energy. Emotion charges it. Action anchors it. Together, they create resonance, and resonance collapses probability into experience. This is not mysticism. It's coherence. Your thoughts are electromagnetic signals. Your heart and brain generate measurable fields that interact with the greater quantum field around you. When you broadcast a consistent frequency belief, united with emotion, you send a precise instruction to reality. That instruction becomes the architecture upon which matter assembles. The problem is not that manifestation doesn't work. It's that most people emit contradiction. They visualize abundance while vibrating. Fear, declare confidence while carrying doubt. Speak faith while rehearsing failure. The field receives mixed messages and responds with mirrored confusion. Alignment is not positive thinking. It is congruent being. To align, you must begin with clarity. The universe cannot deliver what you vaguely desire. Define your vision with precision, not just what it looks like, but how it feels, what it serves, who it uplifts. The clearer your intent, the sharper your frequency. Vague signals yield vague results. Next, cultivate emotional resonance. Feel the outcome as if it already exists. Gratitude, joy, calm, certainty. These are not fantasies. They are frequencies. Neuroscience shows that emotional rehearsal activates the same neural circuits as actual experience. The subconscious interprets these rehearsals as reality, priming your perception to notice opportunities aligned with your vision. Spiritually, emotion is the magnet. Action is the magnetism in motion. Now take aligned action. Manifestation without movement is delusion. The universe speaks through probability. You must enter the field for alignment to occur. Act in faith, not desperation. Each small step signals readiness, strengthening the coherence between inner intention and outer expression. When action and belief converge, coincidence accelerates. Release attachment to timing. Control is the enemy of creation. Your job is to define the direction and maintain alignment. The universe handles the orchestration. Forcing outcomes compresses energy, cutting you off from intuition. Surrender is not passivity. It is trust in higher intelligence to arrange what you cannot yet see. The ego measures by linear time. The field responds to vibrational readiness. When you align internally, manifestation often arrives through improbable channels. Synchronicities multiply. People, resources, and events appear as if summoned. This is not magic, it's mechanics. The outer world mirrors the coherence of your inner state. Remember, energy amplifies attention. What you resist, you reinforce. If you dwell on lack, you expand it. If you focus on gratitude, you multiply it. The law of resonance has no morality. It simply mirrors. The universe is a perfect echo chamber, indifferent, but precise. It gives you not what you want, but what you are. To master manifestation, cultivate energetic hygiene. Guard your language. Words are spells, literal vibrations that shape perception. Speak as the version of you who already lives the reality you seek. Avoid phrases rooted in lack or waiting. I am becoming. I am aligned. I am ready. Each statement is a seed of frequency. Meditation amplifies alignment by quieting distortion. In stillness, your brainwaves slow. Your field becomes coherent. This is the fertile ground where intention imprints on reality. Visualize your desired state here, daily not as fantasy, but as remembrance. You are not creating something new. You are tuning to what already exists in potential. And finally, embody faith through consistency. Doubt is natural. Indulgence in doubt is choice. Every time you act despite uncertainty, you reinforce your trust in the unseen. Faith is not belief without evidence. It is evidence before belief. The universe tests conviction through silence. Those who persist through it become magnetic beyond measure. You are a co-creator, not a spectator. Every day, every decision, every emotion is a frequency broadcast. Manifestation is not about control. It's about cooperation aligning with universal law so precisely that effort becomes flow. When you live in alignment, life feels orchestral, harmonious, intuitive, inevitable. You will realize then you were never trying to manifest anything external. You were learning to remember who you already are. The conductor of energy, the author of form, the consciousness through which the universe experiences itself. Think clearly, feel deeply, act decisively, surrender completely. That is alignment. That is creation. Conclusion: becoming infinite. The return to source. You have walked through the chambers of the mind, dismantled limitation, rebuilt the architecture of thought, and aligned the rhythm of your life with universal law. You have learned that wealth, clarity, peace, and purpose are not trophies of chance. They are extensions of consciousness shaped by your discipline and energy. Now, at the summit of this journey, one truth stands above all others. You were never trying to become more. You were remembering that you already are. Everything in this audiobook, every principle, practice, and paradigm was designed to guide you back to your own power. Power that was never lost, only forgotten, beneath noise conditioning and fear. You were not meant to serve your limits. You were meant to command your laws. To live consciously is to live as creator. You understand now that life is not a race to acquire, but a rhythm to align with. The people you meet, the challenges you face, the triumphs you taste, all are mirrors, reflecting the quality of your vibration. When you change the signal, the reflection changes. You are not a small being navigating a vast universe. You are the universe expressing itself through one unique lens. Your awareness collapses potential into experience. Your choices sculpt time into meaning. Every breath is an act of creation. Every decision a command to reality. This realization carries both liberation and responsibility. You can no longer claim ignorance. You know too much. You can no longer shrink back into victimhood. Your power will not allow it. You can no longer seek permission. You are the authority now. And yet, the deeper paradox is peace. Because when you no longer need to prove power, you begin to move with grace. The ego loosens its grip. Effort transforms into flow. Success becomes quiet, radiant, effortless. You give because overflow is your nature. You lead because alignment leads through you. You create because creation is what consciousness does. From this moment forward, let your life be your philosophy in motion. Let your habits become prayers. Your focus become meditation. Your discipline become devotion. Every act, no matter how small, can be sacred when performed with awareness. When doubt returns, and it will remember, darkness is not the opposite of light. It is its raw material. Every collapse, every silence, every unknown is a womb for new creation. Meet it not with fear, but with stillness. Stillness is the doorway back to source. You are now equipped to live as a sovereign, a creator, a transmitter of coherence in a chaotic world. You do not need more information. You need integration. Let these words not remain philosophy, but become pattern practice pulse. And one day, perhaps without realizing it, you will look around your life, the peace, the abundance, the authenticity, and understand you did not attract it. You became it. Because in the end, there was never anything to chase, only something to awaken. The journey was never about becoming extraordinary. It was about remembering that you already are. Breathe deeply. Stand still. Smile at the horizon. You are home. If something you heard today shifted your perspective, help it reach one more person who's ready for change. And if you want to keep growing with us, subscribe. This space will be here when you need it.